All right, greetings everyone. The purpose of this video is to go over some of the commands and some of the features of Excel that relate to our describing data unit. And so we're going to look at, first of all, different ways we can create charts that represent data. So first, categorical data and then quantitative data. And then also how to use Excel to calculate some of the values related to quantitative data. Now, as we go through this, I should point out that the screen you're seeing that I'm sharing is on a Windows operating system laptop. If you have a different type of device and you're using Excel, or you're using Excel in a different format, like say the web-based version, some of your options may look a little bit different, or some of the commands may be a little bit different. If you're unsure about that, you can let me know and we can try to figure it out together. Also, if you're using Google Sheets, which is very similar to Excel, again, the kind of the steps or the commands should be very similar. There might just be some slight differences. Okay, so let's start with our categorical data here, and we're first going to insert a bar graph. So to do that, the first thing I want to do is go ahead and highlight all the data. Okay, so notice I've highlighted the categories here, as well as the frequencies for each. I'm not including the titles there. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Insert here. And then notice in this area where it says Charts, I'm going to go in the upper left here, so next to Recommended Charts, but above that, where it tells me I can insert a column or bar chart. So go ahead and click on that, and then I'm going to do the 2D column there. And I get a nice bar graph there representing this data of beverage choice. Okay. And notice we've got on the vertical axis the frequencies, the horizontal axis the different categories or different choices. And we have bars for each choice. And with any graph like this, we always want to add a couple of labels and a title to help explain what's going on with the data. So I might say that this is put on the title here that this is a graph showing beverage choice. Then it's also nice to have some different labels on the axes. And so to show that, what I'm going to do is go ahead and click on this plus sign here that says chart elements. And then I'm going to click the box that says axis titles. And now it's going to let me put some titles on each of my axes. So on the horizontal axis, I might put type of beverage. And then on the vertical axis, I might say frequency. Okay, and that gives us a nice bar graph of this data. Okay, let's next do a pie chart of this data. So I'm again going to highlight it. I'm going to click the button that says Insert. Go back to the area that says Charts. And if you notice now in the lower left, we see something that looks like a pie chart. And in fact, when I hover over it, it asks me if I want to insert a pie or a donut chart. So go ahead and click on that. And then we're just going to use two-dimensional charts here. So go ahead and click on that. And now it gives us a nice pie chart of the information. Okay, and again, here they've used colors for the different slices, and down below they've given us a legend showing what each color stands for. Now I would again, for any graph, we want to go ahead and put in a title, so I would again call this beverage choice. And then with the pie graph, we have some options. If we click here, we can go ahead and click the box that says data labels, and then it actually puts in the frequencies for each slice, which is nice. Okay. So that's creating charts or graphs to represent categorical data. Let's look at the quantitative data. Okay, so here in column A on this chart, I've got a bunch of numbers, and in this case, they represent the total costs of textbooks for a semester for different students. And so I've got data for 36 students here. Now, as we go through this, it actually won't be completely necessary that all the data is in order. But if you notice, first of all, looking at it, it's not. So we have 140, 285, 330, but then 160 and 285. So the data is not in order. Excel actually has a feature that will put the numbers in order for you. So if I highlight them all, and then I go over here where it says editing to sort and filter, click on that, I can sort from smallest to largest. And then what Excel will do is go ahead and put the numbers in order for me from smallest to largest. I could also tell them to do it largest to smallest. So whatever our preference is. Okay, so let's start here by inserting a histogram to represent this data. So the way that we'll do that is we'll again use our good friend, the insert button up here. And then for a histogram, we're going to go kind of in the middle of the charts area here, where it's going to ask us if we want to insert a statistic chart. So click that, and there's the first option there on top is a histogram. And so we'll go ahead and click on that. And then it gives us a nice histogram here. We can again click on this side here as we've done before and ask it to put in axis titles for us. And just like with our previous charts, we want to go ahead and put a title and labels on our axes for this. So we could say costs of textbooks for students as our title. And down here we could put, say, amount spent, since those are what those numbers represent. And then our vertical axis in this case is going to be frequencies. Again, so it's telling us how many students fall in each category. All right. And also looking at this histogram, you might notice at first that it looks like it's a little boxy, right? Like it looks like there's kind of a lot of data here, but it's not totally clear what's going on. And there's like a big difference between these two. So it'd be nice if we get this histogram to look a little bit smoother. So the way we can do that is we're going to go ahead and click on the horizontal axis there where the bins are. Click on Format Axis. And then notice there's an option over here for bin width. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. It's going to allow me now to manually decide the bin width. So I'm going to try, they have it at 83. I'm going to make it something a little smaller at 50. And when I hit enter, notice it gives me a little bit smoother representation of the data. In this case, histogram like this is going to tell us more information about all of this data. All right, one other type of chart we may make with quantitative data. I again go up here, or actually, sorry, I'm going to highlight all the data again. And then I'm going to go insert. And this time I'm going to hit statistic charts one more time, but then notice down here it gives me an option for a box and whisker plot. So I'll go ahead and hit that. And notice it gives me a box and whisker plot of the data. And as we've learned in class, the different parts of this represent different things about the data. So we have the minimum value here, the Q1, the median, Q3, and the max value here. Okay. And we could again give this a title, say that it is the costs of textbooks for students. Okay, so those are creating two visual representations of the data. Let's also look at how we can use Excel to do some calculations for the data. So we're going to start by looking at using Excel to calculate mean, median, and mode. So what I want to do is I'm going to click into the box where I want the mean to appear, which is going to be here in this column E. For each of our formulas that I'm about to type, we're always going to start with an equal sign. And then to do the mean, we're going to go ahead and type the word average. I'm going to put a parenthesis. And then inside the parenthesis, I want to put the groups of cells that I want to compute the average for. So it's all of these ones we've been working with on this problem. So go ahead and click and drag, highlight all of the data points there. Once I've done that, I can go ahead and press enter, and then I will get the average amount spent in the box there. Okay. For the median, it's very similar. I just hit equals. I'm going to type median. parenthesis, highlight my data, and then press enter again. And again, it gives me the median value now in this box here. All right, finally the mode. It's the one that is a little more involved. So we're going to type in mode, and then we're going to do, as it suggests there, .mult. What that allows us to do is it'll list out all of the modes for us. So if there happens to be more than one, this command will give us that. Again, do my parenthesis, highlight all my data, press enter, and it gives us the mode is 285. All right, so that's mean, median, mode. So again, for mean, we use the equals average, parenthesis, this range of cells. For median, we do equals median, the range of cells. And for mode, equals mode dot mult, parenthesis, the range of cells. All right, let's now talk about calculating the 5-number summary using Excel. And as you might imagine, it can do that since we know that the 5-number summary relates to the box and whisker plot over here. But let's go ahead and do that. So first thing we need is the minimum value, which I'm going to call min here. And to find that, it's just very similar to doing mean and median above. We're going to type equals min for min, parentheses. Go ahead and highlight all my cells again. Press enter. So now I've got the minimum value. For Q1, which is our quartile 1, this one's a little bit more involved. So what we're going to do here is type equals, type out the word quartile. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and parenthesis, highlight my data here. So again, do A1 down to A36 here. And then before I press enter this time, in the cell, I need to do comma. And since this is the first quartile, I'm going to be doing a 1. Okay, which tells us we're doing the first quartile, as you may see there in the code. So close that, press enter, and now we've got the value for the first quartile. Next part of the 5-number summary is the median. We've already looked at how to do that. We just type in equals median, highlight our values here, press enter. And then Q3 is going to be done very similar to Q1. We'll type in equals quartile, parenthesis, again, highlight our values. Okay, and then in the code here, since we're doing the third quartile, we'll do comma 3, close our parentheses, hit enter, and it gives us the third quartile value. And then finally for the max, we're just going to do equals max. That one's very similar. Again, highlight the data, press enter. Okay, and it gives us the max value. So then we're able to find the 5-number summary here, which is 140, 257.5, 307.5, 346.25, and 460. Which if we compare over to our box plot over here, the 140, 257.5, the median at 307.5, Q3 at 346.25, and max at 460 seem to line up. The other thing I'll say is you may have been wondering, why did we do the min or max? If we could have just looked at the list, we know this is the max value at top. Here's the min value on the bottom. That's true. We could have just done that. But I wanted to show this because even if you don't have your data in order, these commands will still work. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you for watching.